Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
The man that we have a lot of feelings for is in the studio with us right now. Magnificent Bo Ryan!
Hey, Bo.
Hey, great to be here.
Hey, you've come in on the right day, eh? Fridays. You know what I mean?
Kate.
Party time.
Kate's in on Fridays
Well, from 7 o'clock.
from 7 till, 8?
Yeah, no,
And I
no,
wasn't even sure. At about
2
5
hours.
o'clock this morning, I thought about pulling the pin.
No, I feel you. I was driving in going, what, doesn't she work? Doesn't she do you guys anymore? That was a short little stint.
No, but you know what? The best thing about Kate, she's in the car, she's actually listening because we do quiz her. What are we doing between 6 and 7? She knows what she's talking
But
about.
she'll also give us feedback on that first hour without
Feedback.
her.
Yeah,
good.
so I'm not only on-air talent, I'm an advisor for 6 to 7 hour.
Feedback. I love meeting with management.
Oh,
You know what I
it's
mean? When
awesome, isn't
When
it?
they call you into a room and say, let's have a talk about some numbers and
Me
stuff
too.
like that.
What's the feedback you normally get? Turn up?
Oh, we've got plenty of room to move.
Yeah, shush up.
We've got plenty to learn, but we just don't have much time on our side.
How good's the phrase you get from management or someone else where they'll go, I reckon there's a better one in you?
Oh, I like this one from management or missus. We need to have a chat.
Yeah. What
Can we talk?
What about from coaches over the years, Bo?
Same thing.
Did you ever get a spray from any of your coaches?
Yeah, I got a lot of sprays. And I was talking about this the other day, actually. Like, I think back in the day, and you got dropped. Like, I'm reading Sam Walker from the Roosters, he got dropped.
he
And then
got-
now players want to release. They ring their manager, but we used to get dropped, abused, yelled at violently.
Yeah.
Then your manager would yell at you. Then your wife yells at you. But you sort of
You
just
right,
were
mate?
used to it. You were just sort of used to it. But now, I don't know, people are changing teams so often, and I don't know, they can't cop it as
Well,
much.
Fitchy
as
had a
they
bit of an
used
issue with Rocket.
Well,
didn't he,
I
because of
remember
his-
because I was he called me the guy that would have failed plasticine in primary school.
Who's Rocket?
He was our coach at the Sydney Swans, Rodney Eade. The best one that I remember, though, Stephen Carey, who is a good mate of mine. Steph, we still talk about this one, but Stephen Carey was 105 kilograms of fairy floss. If I had a baseball bat here right now, I would take it to your head.
Now, Rodney, he had a bit of a...
How good is it?
Was it a hygiene issue?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
What was it?
He forgot to clean his teeth most mornings. as well. So when
yeah.
you were getting this spray,
Right.
it was magnificent.
Yeah, I had a meeting. I don't want to say who it is. He's in the meeting. I had a meeting with someone. I was going to change clubs once, and we're in Woollahra. We sat down, and it was just dragon breath the whole time. And I wanted to go to the club, but I just couldn't.
No.
I couldn't look at the bloke in the eyes.
Yeah, they were giving you a good offer.
He's a
but
good
you-
operator, Gus.
You know, we had a situation in radio, Bo, where, Tommy, you're across this story too. Somebody who worked in the building, he had terrible breath, and it was...
Who? Write it
I
down.
can't say
Write it
his
down.
name.
Write
Smallsy.
it down.
No, I can't say his name. Anyway, he got called into management to have a chat about it. And the minute that they said, hey, I want to have a bit of a chat about sort of hygiene and things, and he told him, the guy went, it's a stitch-up, isn't it? Bloody radio, this industry. Where are the
No.
cameras? And he went, it's not a prank.
Got him.
Yes,
You need to get it
stink, mate.
fixed.
Get on the mints. And Tommy's been addicted to those clips ever since.
Ever since.
Yeah. So did they move him on? Because there's a bit of moving on going on around here, or no? Did they move him on, or no? They didn't.
But you can't. I don't think you can move someone on for bad breath.
Oh, I
Of course you can.
Actually, talking of bad breath, you're watching The Jungle at the moment. I mean, you've had that experience before. What was the worst thing that you had to get down the gullet?
You were great on that show.
You were brilliant.
The eyeball.
yes.
I was all right with the urine and all the different types of
Yes.
piss that you got to drink.
The anus?
Anus was all right. Anus was okay.
But an
Mad for it.
eyeball burst.
yeah,
doesn't it?
the eyeball, they're too big to actually just swallow.
Yes.
And you have to bite it. So I reckon I had it in my mouth, for about 5 minutes.
What does it feel like? Like when you bite through it, is it like...
Like a
When
lychee?
that's where it got me. No, it's sort of it's the sort of texture of
Is
a
it
lychee.
jelly inside?
It's more like pussy. Oh, and then it warm.
It's
Warm.
Would you rather a cold pus or a warm pus?
Definitely cold.
Oh, see,
But when I bit it, like I was all right, and I kept sort of just moving it around my mouth and winking at Chris and Julia like I had it down. But I had like the side of my cheek was all puffed up. They knew I still had it in my mouth, so I just kept winking, saying, "Yeah, it's done. Like, let's go. Let's move on with the show."
Winking inside
I know how
my
TV works. Let's get it going. And they said, "No, you got to bite it." And I was sick for about a day and a half.
Yuck.
I was sick. And one of the guys I was with, Derek Kickett,
Yes.
he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, the
Good man.
eyeballs were all right." But that day we get back to the doing it after the trial, and he's like, "I don't care what we eat. I just do not want to eat anything with a penis." All right, I just don't want to eat penis. And I'm like, mate, there are 700 cameras on us right now.
Yeah.
So sure enough, we get there in the morning. He's got 11 penises he's got to eat for breakfast.
All different animals.
No, same animal.
It's unbelievable what they get away with.
Which penis do you want to start
It's
with?
a big morning.
Hey, Bowie, you are a Stan ambassador. I want to talk about this new show, Totally Completely Fine. Now, this is a show that's inspired by the life of a guy by the name of Don Ritchie. He was famous for, he intervened over 180 suicide attempts at the Gap in Watson's Bay. This guy is like
Gap.
a legend.
Yeah, it's it's a fictionalised story, but it's happened. There's a place in Canada as well. So essentially, this young woman inherits a house, let's say in the eastern suburbs, on a cliff on the ocean, and a backyard shared with obviously the Gap.
Yes.
And people use the backyard to obviously end their lives, and she inherits the house and the responsibility. So literally, as soon as she gets the house that night,
She's
someone
gonna
talks
talk people
Faced
out of
with
it.
that.
She's faced with that, and it just shows. It's grief is complex.
Yes.
And the lady is a mess herself. She's not together. She hasn't got it together. She's not well. She's a bit sick. She's been drinking. Yep. But she saves a lot of people's lives and shows, just how complex the situation is. It probably puts others before her own safety and health. And it's a dark comedy.
Do you know, I didn't realise this is what the show was about. I've done a whole lot of research on this guy.
Yeah.
Because I've been fascinated by Don Ritchie.
Yeah.
And the way he would sit in the front room of his house.
Yeah.
And
then
watch
he would
people coming,
he'd see a car pull up, he'd see someone get out, and he would wander down to the Gap and he would say to them, hey, don't do that. Come and have a cup of tea with me.
That's right.
And he saved so many lives.
Well, do you know what? I had a friend who went through something similar, and now they have a phone. There's a phone down there.
Yeah, there is.
That you can actually pick up before you get all the way down there.
All sorts
and
of
you
security.
can talk to someone, Kate.
I didn't realise that.
Which has saved a lot of lives as well.
That's
And
wonderful.
he actually does an extension on his house too, where he builds like a little, or had plans in to build like a little breakfast area. So people end up staying with him. I don't want to give too much away, but the first night the woman moves in, a bride leaves a fiancé at the altar.
Yeah.
And then the next day it's a gentleman leaving a work site. So it's from all walks of life.
Yes.
And a lot of them connect, and it shows, everyone's got issues in their life at the moment. Everyone's got troubles, but it shows the enormity of someone's, and some people think they've got big problems, some don't, and they talk each other literally off the cliff.
Well done.
Fascinating
All right. It's called Totally Completely Fine.
It's heavy. Look, it is heavy. Let's get real. Let's address
Well,
it.
it is a heavy topic.
Yeah, it's a heavy topic. Let's address
Do you know what's interesting, what you mentioned there? When my dad was young, he was working here in Sydney, and he went to the Gap with his mum and dad. They were just doing tourist stuff because he was from Melbourne. Anyway, it was late at night, and Dad could hear this noise, and it was a woman who had jumped off, but she'd landed sort of just underneath,
A ledge underneath.
sort of a metre down in her wedding dress.
And all
And
right.
Dad went and grabbed her and carried her back over the fence.
Is he in
And
the
she-
series?
No, he's not. It's not starring John Whipfleet.
Right.
But, that wedding dress moment, to think of what must have happened in the lead up to what took her to where she found herself is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And then you wonder too, with someone like Don Ritchie, right, who saved so many lives, imagine him then bumping into that person
Down the track.
down the street and just seeing him, a dad possibly with his wife and kids in the corner store.
Yeah, it is. It's deep.
Fascinating.
Well done. It's out now on Stan. Totally Completely Fine. Bo Ryan, we love you, buddy. Thanks for coming
Thanks
in.
for having me, and good to see you guys. See you, Kate.
Thanks, mate.
Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.